Hi traders, this is Chris Buss with Traders Profit Compass with your midday market pulse update. Okay, not a ton to report here today, but I thought I'd put together a midday update for you. I want to point out just a few things. Going to zip through the 30-minute charts of the indexes, look at FANG, and then got a couple trade setups you might be interested in. So on the 30-minute chart, we have the bounce off the channel low has come up and found resistance here at the 38% fib retracement level. You can see multiple candles just chopping around here, but has not been able to, pop that 340 level. If it were, then probably going to make it up here to 341.50, but it looks a little heavy at the moment. As far as day trading on the downside, if you had not shorted, right here at this level, I think 338 is a level to key off of, both on the long side and the short side. If we come down here again, you can see there's been multiple candles testing that support, and it's held thus far. If it were to break, then I think you have a chance for this gap fill down to 335 that did not completely fill yesterday. So that I would be watching for that in the afternoon. And if it does hold and you're interested in trading it, then you may be able to get, $1, $1.50, or even higher this afternoon. Qs, nice bounce off the channel low, reached up here to 283.50, fell a little shy, but that was a key level from before with these large volume over price resistance bars that if you were to, if you got short here, that was very objective. Now there's the potential to come back down should it lose 282, then probably back here towards 280. And if you got a breakout above this channel high, then you got a lot more cooking to the upside. IWM has definitely been the weakest today. The reflation trade, if you want to call it that, has kind of fallen apart here as it has in the past. Beautiful day trade opportunity if you caught it rally right up into this fib zone at 50% and technical resistance at 160 that we've had flagged for forever. If you took that short there, you're in great shape. But now just here, breaking below the 158.50 level, which was prior gap support, good chance we come down and test yesterday's low at this point later today, or even come down to fill it at 156.75 if things get real soft this afternoon. Facebook rally back to near yesterday's high. Notice the bearish divergence though. Again, just almost like a double top, not perfect, but very close. Rally back to the top where there's resistance, but on much lower RSI and PPO readings. If you're trading it, then that would have been a place to get short. I don't know if there's much to do here right in front of earnings. You got the pop if you got in there this morning. You got a nice little push up, but now it's going to probably come back and chop around. I don't know if there's much to do here unless you got short right at the top. Apple's had a nice morning, broke out here, cleared 115, and you've gotten a couple bucks out of it if you took it long. Again, pre-earnings run, we'll see if it can push higher. A good level, if it were to break above 118, then you got some real running room up to 120. Who knows how far they'll push this today, but it looks good so far. If you got long here, you had a chance. Notice the candle back touching 115. If you had, if you were watching it closely, that was your entry point on the back touch of 115. Tesla broke above this 420 we had marked and then went right to 430. So these levels have been working like a charm. Now, a couple ways to play. If price comes back to 420 and it holds, then you could get a kickback up to 430 and possibly higher if the market stays strong. But if it drops back below, that's your shorting moment for a likely move back to 410. So 420 is really your pivot. You can be long above and short below. Microsoft, nice little run this morning, back up to resistance at 213. You'll have to, this is the objective short right here. Right here, this 213 level, you've got all this overhead resistance right above, and if you get stopped out, that's trading. But here's your objective short level. With earnings coming up, it may hold this level, not come back at all, but we'll have to wait and see. But definitely this 213 is your key level here in the afternoon. And if it breaks above, that would be kind of significant, breaking back into this trading range. Probably get a move up here at least to this downtrend line. Amazon, we talked about 3,200. Would have been a hard trade to grab. You did get a candle that came back down to 3,210. If you had a mindset to get long, that was about the best you could get this morning, right at that candle low. And you've got 50 bucks out of it so far, right here at yesterday's high. Notice here, different than Facebook, where you've got, sorry about that, where you've got rising momentum and rising RSI, whereas in Facebook it was the other way down. So this is a much more constructive setup to be long and look for this pop above this 368 level and then push to 3,300. Google ran into trouble here at this 1590. So that remains your pivot point for this afternoon. If it can break above, then you've got 1610 in the crosshairs. But as long as it stays below, if you got short at 1590, just stay with it. Netflix has been soggy, got rejected at 490. We said this morning that that was your pivot point, and that has thus far held like a champ. Doesn't appear to be doing a whole lot with the Qs, a little bit on the strong side, so we'll see. But as it stands now, if you took that short at 490, you're $5 or $6 to the good. A couple setups I want to show you. Match had a nice breakout today, moving above this level. I don't know if you want to take it right here, but it certainly looks strong. If you had any weakness or pullback into 120, I think that would be a good long. Rising momentum, rising RSI, those look good. Bullishly stacked EMAs, price above all of them, and then you can use either the 8 EMA or 20 EMA catching up as a potential stop, but right now it's long against 120. This AAXN, Axon, that is the company that had bought Taser a few years back. Nice breakout and a back test. That's exactly what you want to see. for a long setup against 100 and the rising 20. I believe they have earnings next week. I believe it's the 5th. So depending on if you want to just wait or take it ahead of time, if you want to be long body cams and tasers, this is the stock for you. But that's exactly what you want to see on a a back test. So this is a much higher probability long, and then going long on the breakout here. So I like this setup. I'm not going to take it in front of earnings, but I'm watching it. Same thing with Beyond Meat, exactly the same setup. Breakout, back test, 50 EMA test, earnings next week. I believe it's November 2nd. I think that's, what is that, Monday? Yeah, Monday. Nice setup. So that's one to watch. I like this setup. I like these breakouts and back tests. You've taken the risk out of the trade, and now you can set a long against 160 and the 50 EMA. And, if it fails, you get stopped out, paper cut. But if it takes off, then you've got the prior high at 195 as a technical target. So I like that setup. Apps, same setup. Breakout, back test, 50 EMA test. I did not check the earnings on this one. Please do that yourself before you get involved. But you've got a beautiful line to shoot against here and a strong trending stock. Yeah, I really like this long setup, depending on your view of the market. When earnings are due out, that's a strong setup for a long. You can be long against the 50 and this 31 level. I think that's a nice setup. Financials we talked about this morning, as this 24.25 was a level that I have alarmed in my system. Came down today. Financials really weak. What is it? Down 1.26% at this point. Testing this support level. If that were to break, then more downside is favored there. And look again, price below all the moving averages, which are clustered. So if that level breaks, there's going to be a lot of overhead resistance once that breaks below, and I think that would be a good short. Notice that momentum is still coming out of it here on the PPO. Industrials, bad day at the office. We talked about yesterday, or we talked about this morning. Yesterday, price reached down to the 50 and bounced, and it has given all that up today. You'll have to decide how you're going to play this, if at all. But as we talked about this morning, you can use the 50 if you think there's going to be further weakness in industrials. Then your target is basically 76, and then if that were to break down to the 200, but this has been a well-defined trading range. There's probably going to be a lot of depending on the character of the market, which makes this kind of a difficult trade. Does the market find its footing, or does it do we find further selling in the days ahead of the election? So that's probably a tough trade, but I did want to point out that it gave up these gains from yesterday and now is legitimately pressing against the 50. DraftKings, I'm sorry. I got a different format here on DraftKings that is out of the recording area, but I'll just walk you through it. We had gotten long DraftKings around 43 with a thinking it was going to break out above 45, and then it lost the trend line and lost 42.50, and now it is back in the prior trading range between 42.50 and 31. So, you know, using the principles that we've been sticking with, whenever you have a breakout and then goes back into the prior range, the target becomes the box low, which is down at 31. So anyways, DraftKings looks very weak, down a couple of percent today. I'm sorry that's not on the screen. I didn't realize that when I was setting this up. But you can pull up a chart of DraftKings, and you'll see what looks like now to be a big fake breakout now that we're back in the range. And I don't know if you want to short it right here, but if there was any kickback to 42.50, I would definitely consider a short there, because then you've got overhead resistance at 42.50 and the uptrend line. So there would be double resistance of that. The next video, I will certainly review this chart again, and I'll make sure it's in the recording area. I apologize about that again. Okay, that's all I have for today. Not a whole lot. We'll see how it closes this afternoon, and then we'll do a reset. If something happens this afternoon, I'll do a market recap, a market on closed report. Otherwise, I'll probably just wait till in the morning. I think a lot's going to depend on, of course, the big cap earnings, and it'll be interesting how they close it this afternoon, just on a risk appetite kind of look. So let's wrap it up there. I hope you're having a good trading day. This has been Chris Buss with Traders Profit Compass. Talk to you next time.